record. All right. Hello, world. Welcome to episode 88 of the Jimmy Canz Show. It is that time of year. It is the 2021-22 bowl season prediction special. We know who's in. Lots of bowl games to discuss. Rodney is with me. Let's get into this so it doesn't take 10 years.
I was able to make it this season. I'm ready.
All right, brother. All right, so out of the gate, the Bahamas Bowl will be Friday, the 17th of this month at noon from Thomas Robinson Stadium, Nassau, the Bahamas, on ESPN. Conference USA's Middle Tennessee State University Blue Raiders at 6-6, taking on the Max University of Toledo Rockets at 7-5. Rod, why don't you kick us off here? Who are you taking?
MTSU. I know that program. I know a lot of kids that go there. A lot of athletes. So,
all right.
Yeah.
I didn't have a dog in the fight on this one. This one was kind of a coin toss game for me. So I'm going Toledo.
All right. A lot of them are coin toss games for me this year.
Yeah. Like I said, I had nothing really to go on in this one. I haven't seen either team play that much this season. So it was just kind of a flip of the coin.
Right.
It was a flip of the coin, not to mention the fact that Toledo had one more win.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, there you have it. Next up, the Tail Greeter Cure Bowl, also on the 17th, 6 p.m. on ESPN2 from Camping World Stadium here in Orlando. Your MAC champion, Northern Illinois University Huskies at 9-4, taking on the Sun Belts, Coastal Carolina University Chanticleers at 10-2. I'm going to go with the Chanticleers on this one. I saw Northern Illinois play in that championship game, and I don't know. I don't see them carrying that momentum any further than what they've already done. So, where are you going, Rod?
I'm going Northern Illinois with absolutely no information.
All right, brother. Fair enough. Next up, the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl, Conference USA, Western Kentucky University Hilltoppers, 8-5, taking on the Sun Belts, Appalachian State University Mountaineers, 10-3. This will be the Saturday the 18th on ESPN from Howard Schlegenberger Field in Boca Raton, Florida. Which way are you going on this one, Rod?
Well, I'm going strictly loyalty on this one. I'm going Western Kentucky. Even though Appalachian State, that's a program that's hard to kind of bet against, especially when they're playing against equal competition.
Yeah. Sorry, bro. I know you're riding with your Hilltoppers, but I got to go App State on this one. I have a soft spot in my heart for App State. And having arguably the greatest upset in the century in 2007. So when I get a chance to pick them, I do.
I feel you. They scored a nice one against your rivals.
Yeah. So next up, the Cricket Celebration Bowl, the MEAC champion, South Carolina State University Bulldogs, taking on the SWAC champion Jackson State Tigers on ABC at noon from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. I am going with Jackson State. I can't bet against Coach Prime.
You already know I'm going with Coach Prime.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing good things with that program. So,
it's amazing what confidence can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you have that. Next up, the Pubg Mobile New Mexico Bowl, Saturday the 18th, 2:15 on ESPN from Branch Field at Dreamstyle Stadium in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Hey, the New Mexico Bowl is actually back in New Mexico this year. Imagine that.
And New Mexico is not in it.
Yeah, Conference USA's UTEP University, Texas El Paso Miners, 7-5, taking on Fresno State Bulldogs out of the Mountain West at 9-3. Which way you going, Rod?
All right, so this one's based on, I just looked at the logos. I haven't seen either one of them play, but I thought year over year historically, who's kind of had more, better big game wins, and I went with UTEP.
Okay.
No.
My rationale on this one was, Fresno played Oregon strong. They beat UCLA and Nevada. They lost a tight one to San Diego State. Got owned kind of by Boise, but I'm still feeling them over UTEP. I'm going Fresno. I think they had some more marquee, games this season. So
Better showings.
yeah, better showings. Even though they weren't all wins, I think they just had some better showings against some stiff competition. So next up, the Radiance Technology Independence Bowl on the 18th at 3:30 on ABC from Independence Stadium in Shreveport, Louisiana. The University of Alabama Birmingham Blazers out of Conference USA at 8-4, taking on the independent team 10-2 Brigham Young University Cougars, coming in ranked 13th. So I'm gonna go. I like UAB. Given the fact that this program was left for dead a few years ago, they play every game as if it's going to be their last, because you never know if the university is going to pull the plug on them again. But I just can't pick them on this one. I'm going to have to go BYU.
I mean, I agree. I definitely try to pick with my head as much as possible, not my heart this year. Mm-hmm. You'll see what I mean later on with one of these picks. But yeah, I'm definitely seeing BYU over UAB.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, UAB is going to play them. You know what I mean? They're not going to roll over, but I just don't see them coming out on top. Yeah. All right, next up, the Lending Tree Bowl on ESPN on the 18th, 5:45 p.m. from the Hancock Whitney Stadium in Mobile, Alabama. MAC Conference, Eastern Michigan University Eagles at 7-5, taking on another independent Liberty University Flames at 7-5. Which way you going, Rod?
I always try to pick Liberty when I get a chance, and I don't really have any reason not to this time. I picked Liberty because I got a couple former classmates that went from there to the NFL, so I rock with Liberty on this.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at Liberty's schedule and I didn't see any big marquee matchup or big marquee win. You know what I mean? Their schedule was just kind of to me. EMU's wasn't all that much greater, but I think overall, across the board, the MAC gave them a little bit more competition. I'm going to go EMU in this one. Next up, the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stifel from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California on the 18th, 7:30 p.m. Saturday Night Football on ABC. Mountain West champion Utah State University Aggies at 10-3, taking on Oregon State University Beavers out of the Pac-12 at 7-5. The Aggies looked the part in the Mountain West title game, and I think they're going to ride that momentum into this game. I am going with the Aggies.
I'm going Oregon State.
Oregon State. Any rationale?
A beaver tail is pretty tough, so I mean.
So is it bull's horns.
Yeah, so that's really the matchup.
Yeah. All right, brother. The RL Carrier New Orleans Bowl, Saturday evening, the 18th, 9:15 p.m. from now the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. Conference USA Marshall University Thundering Herd at 7-5, taking on the Sun Belt champion University of Louisiana at Lafayette Raging Cajuns, coming in at 12-1, ranked 23rd in the country. Which way you going, Rod?
Well, you're a Lafayette. They've been winning a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is just kind of a mismatch on this one. So Lafayette looking pretty strong for a group of five right now. So I will concur. Next up, plus they're in their backyard. They're not having to travel far. Next up, the Myrtle Beach Bowl on Monday, the 20th, 2:30 in the afternoon from Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina. The Americans University of Tulsa Golden Hurricanes, 6-6, taking on Conference USA Old Dominion University Monarchs, also at 6-6. I'm going to say, looking at this, two teams, I got to go off of what I saw. And what I saw was Tulsa played the Buckeye stuff. They played the Bearcat stuff as well. I think they go into this game, take care of business. Give me Tulsa. I mean, Old Dominion lost to a 4-8 Buffalo team this year in 2008. So I'm going Tulsa.
Yeah, I just don't feel Old Dominion has the talent. So
yeah,
I'm going with Tulsa.
Yeah. All right. Next up, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl on ESPN on the 21st at 3:30, Boise, Idaho, Albertson Stadium. The MAC conference runner-up, Kent State University Golden Flashes at 7-6, taking on the Mountain West University of Wyoming Cowboys at 6-6. Which way are you going, Rod?
This is one of the blander things I've ever had to be a part of. This bowl pick. I'm gonna go with Kent State because I like the colors. The colors aren't orange and brown.
I'm gonna say I got nothing on Wyoming. They were just kind of there in 2021. I mean, Kent State did come up short in the MAC title game, but this is an offense that can score points. If you saw them at all this year, they are an explosive offense. They can strike suddenly. For that reason, I'm gonna go with the Golden Flashes in this one.
Yeah, I mean that's better than that.
Yeah.
The Wyoming uniform is like a banana now and later.
Yeah. The Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl, pitting, I guess, kind of ranked or first ranked matchup, depending on what rankings you go off of, or if you want to combine the rankings. You got Conference USA champion University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners at 12-1, unranked in the CFP, but ranked in both the AP and the coaches poll, taking on Mountain West runner-up San Diego State University Aztecs, 11-2, ranked 24th in the CFP, but unranked in the two other polls, the AP and the coaches poll. ESPN, Frisco, Texas, Toyota Stadium, 7:30 on Tuesday, the 21st. I'm going to say, San Diego State, they laid an egg in that Mountain West title game. I mean, the Roadrunners were in a dogfight and pulled it out in their title game. Can they ride the momentum in this bowl game? I'm going to say they do. Give me the Roadrunners.
You have to go with the last time you saw them. And the last time I saw them, I'm going with San Antonio.
Yeah. Like I said, I think they're just going to ride that momentum from that championship win. Might be a little bit of a championship hangover, from that loss with the Aztecs. So next up, the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. And we actually have an Armed Forces university in this one. The SEC will be represented by the University of Missouri Tigers, 6-6. Independent United States Military Academy Black Knights coming in at 8-3. This is on Wednesday, the 22nd on ESPN at 8 o'clock. Ammon G. Carter Stadium, Fort Worth, Texas. Which way you going, Rod?
I'm looking forward to just thank them for their service. I'm gonna give them this pick this time. Going Army.
Going Army. Yeah, I mean, Army had a really good season. They got the Army-Navy game coming up. I can see Army winning that one and riding that momentum into the bowl game. Give me Army as well in this one. Next up, a bowl game created for the sake of a bowl game. The Frisco Football Classic. MAC Conference's Miami University Redhawks at 6-6, taking on Conference USA, University of North Texas Mean Green. This will be 3:30 on the 23rd from Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. They created a bowl game just to give all the bowl eligible teams a game. Redhawks, Mean Green. Can we rename this one the Christmas Bowl because it's red and green?
Oh,
and the winner gets an aluminum Christmas tree.
And it's December 23rd. We got you.
Yeah.
We'll rename it right here.
Yeah, I mean, 2 500 teams. UNT not having to travel very far, so give me the Mean Green in this one.
Well, I'm saying North Texas all the way.
Yeah. All right. Next up, the Union Home Mortgage Barilla Bowl on the 23rd as well, 7 o'clock in the evening on ESPN from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. The SEC's University of Florida Gators coming in 500, 6-6, taking on the University of Central Florida Knights out of the American, coming in at 8-4. I know you're gonna probably bleed out your mouth and your eyes and everywhere else on this one, Rod. Where are you going?
It's it's strictly business as much as
Strictly
I hate
business.
As much as I hate everything about what I'm about to say. I think pretty easily Florida beats UCF.
Yeah. I'm gonna concur with you on this one. This is not the Mackenzie Milton led UCF team. I think they've come down quite a bit since then.
It looks like it could be the Mackenzie Milton of 2021 if he led a UCF team.
I mean, they're flipping the page there in Florida. I think they look to get some momentum going into next season. So next up, the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl, and as always, when they're bowl eligible, on Christmas Eve, 8 o'clock on ESPN from the Clarence T.C. Ching Athletic Complex in Honolulu, Hawaii, because the Aloha Stadium is falling apart and they can't play there anymore. So the University of Hawaii at Moana Rainbow Warriors, 6-7 out of the Mountain West, taking on the University of Memphis Tigers out of the American, coming in at 500, 6-6. Like I said, every year that they're bowl eligible, they just stick Hawaii in this bowl game so they don't have to pay for travel for another team to come over there. I'm not feeling it, even though it's a de facto home game for them. I'm going Memphis.
Like Memphis is better than them. So.
Yeah. All right.
Definitely Memphis.
Next up, the Tax Act Camellia Bowl on Christmas afternoon, 2:30 p.m. on ESPN at the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama. The Max Ball State University Cardinals at 6-6, taking on the Sun Belt Conference's Georgia State University Panthers at 7-5. Which way you going, Rod?
Georgia State. Close.
Georgia State.
Less travel. I think pretty good athletes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they had that big win over Coastal Carolina, tough fought 4-point loss to Louisiana Lafayette. Nothing really stands out to me about Ball State's, games this year. They didn't have a marquee win or even a close loss. So I'm going to concur. I'm going Georgia State here as well. Next up, the Quick Lane Bowl from Detroit Ford Field, Monday, the 27th of December, ESPN, 11 o'clock, the MAC conferences, Western Michigan University Broncos, 7-5, taking on the Mountain West University of Nevada, Reno Wolfpack at 8-4. The Broncos, they had that win this year over the ACC champion Panthers. They also, had wins over the MAC runner-up Kent and the MAC champion Northern Illinois. Nevada's biggest win was probably, Cal and Boise. Not as impressive in that, as what I think the Broncos did. So I'm going with the Broncos in this one.
Yeah, I think I'm wind up going Nevada as well.
You're going Nevada on this one?
Going Nevada instead. Sorry.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't see that marquee matchup to them. They said their biggest one was Cal and Boise. Anyway,
but it's bowl season. It's Western Michigan, Nevada. Who knows?
Yep. Military Bowl presented by Raton. Up next on the 27th, 2:30 on ESPN from Jack Stevens Field at the Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland. The American East Carolina University Pirates 7-5. The ACC's Boston College Eagles at 6-6. Which way are you going, Rod?
We're on Boston College. I think Boston College is a hard-nosed team, very fundamentally sound. Would have been the Military Bowl. I know they fired the cannons when they scored at Boston College. So I'm just tying all the psychology together.
Yeah, I mean, ECU played two, good games this year against both, taking Houston to OT, beating Memphis in OT. But Boston College, right now, they seem to be a program building to me. So I'm going to ride with them on that one. I think they're kind of, building right now. So I'm going to see that momentum continue. I'm going BC. All right. The Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl on 28th of December, noon, ESPN, from Protective Stadium in Birmingham, Alabama. The American runner-up, University of Houston Cougars, 11-2, coming in ranked 20, against the SEC's University of Auburn Tigers at 6-6. Auburn, they had wins over Ole Miss and Arkansas, not to mention taking Bama to OT in the Iron Bowl. But I think their spirit is broke. This bowl game really means nothing to this program. Houston had that heartbreaking, performance in their title game, but I think they're still fighting that team. So for that reason, I'm going to go Houston.
I'm just feeling Auburn. I'm just betting on the SEC talent, even if I can see them definitely coming out flat. But I think if they hang around enough, if Houston doesn't blow them out early, I can see in the second half, if they have a chance to win them, the psychology turning on them getting to that game. If they get into that game, I think they will. So
I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. So next up, the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl on the 28th of December, ESPN 315, Gerald J. Ford Stadium, University, Texas. The ACC's University of Louisville Cardinal, 6-6, taking on the Mountain West United States Air Force Academy Falcons at 9-3. Where you going, Rod?
Well, Louisville, I think they got a few potential game breakers. I know the quarterback, that guy, if he gets going, he can really kind of take over a game. So I
hear you, but I have no confidence in Louisville this season. So I'm going to take Air Force. Again, when unsure, never doubt the drive and fight of the United States military.
There it is. Now, if it was in the Armed Forces Bowl, I'd definitely take the Air Force and thank them for their service.
Well, Army's in that one.
That's what I'm saying. Had this been the military affiliated bowl, I would go Air Force.
Yeah. Next up, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on the 28th of December, 6:45 on ESPN from Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium in Memphis, Tennessee. The SEC's Mississippi State University Bulldogs, 7-5. The Big 12 Conference Texas Tech University Red Raiders coming in at 500, 6-6. Mississippi State, to me, they had those wins this year over NC State, A&M, Kentucky, and Auburn. I didn't really see much of anything out of Texas Tech other than the opening upset, if you want to kind of call it that, over Houston. I'm going Mississippi State.
I'm going Mississippi State. I feel like they're the same.
Yeah. All right. Quick and easy. Next up, the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl on Fox, 8 in the evening on the 28th, Petco Park, San Diego, California. The ACC's North Carolina State University Wolfpack, 9-3, ranked 18th, taking on the Pac-12 University of California Los Angeles Bruins at 8-4. Which way you going, Rod?
I think the travel is going to be a bit much for NC State. So even though I like their athletes and potential, in this matchup, I'm going to go with UCLA.
Going UCLA. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I mean, NC State is the higher ranked team, but I just got a feeling about Chip Kelly. And like I said, kind of playing in their backyard, more or less, just a little trip down the highway there to San Diego from LA. And it's a late kickoff, so it's not going to seem as late to UCLA as it is to NC State. Next up, the Guaranteed Rate Bowl on the 28th, 10:15 in the evening from Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. The Big Ten's University of Minnesota Golden Gophers, 8-4, taking on the Big 12 West Virginia University Mountaineers at 6-6. You're coming off an emotionally charged 10-point win for that X over Wisconsin. I'm going to take the Gophers to keep rowing that boat and win in this one. In a game that probably very few people will watch, especially on the East Coast, with a 10 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, I'm gonna go West Virginia. Not a lot to go. I haven't watched much of either one of these teams this year, so I'm just going off traditionally. I think West Virginia has traditionally been a quicker program with their athletes, so that's all it's been.
Fair enough. All right, now we've got the inaugural Wasabi Fenway Bowl on the 29th at 11 a.m. Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. This is a game that got canceled last year. Now we're finally going to get it. The American Southern Methodist University Mustangs, 8-4, taking on the ACC University of Virginia Cavaliers at 6-6. Which way you going, Rod?
SMU, because I never trust Virginia.
You never trust Virginia? I'm going to say SMU channels the spirit of the Pony Express and gets the win in this one.
Gotcha.
Next up, the new Era Pinstripe Bowl on the 29th on ESPN, 2:15 in the afternoon, Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. The Big Ten, University of Maryland Terrapins, 6-6, taking on the ACC's Virginia Tech University Hokies, also at 6-6. Battle of 500 ball clubs. This is, we just had West Virginia, and Virginia Tech in 3 consecutive bowl games, and I'm not taking one of them. I am going with the Terrapins. I just feel that this program is on the rise, and I'm feeling them.
I'm going Virginia Tech just for ACC loyalty.
All right, I hear you. All right, fair enough. Next up here in Orlando, the Cheez It Bowl on the 29th on ESPN, 5:45, Camping World Stadium. The ACC's Clemson University Tigers, 9-4, ranked 19, taking on Iowa State University Cyclones out of the Big 12, 7-5. Where are you going, Rod?
Going Clemson. I think they, even though it's not the dominant team, it's kind of a shell of what we're used to. I still think that at 9-4, it's still some winning magic in that locker room. I think they go out there and close out.
I agree. This isn't the season that they expected, but I still think that there's overall more talent on that team.
Yeah.
All right. The Valero Alamo Bowl up next. This is our first true ranked head-to-head matchup. The Big 12 Oklahoma University Sooners, 10-2, ranked 16. Taking on the Pac-12 Oregon University Ducks, 10-3, ranked 14. The 9:15 in the evening from the Alamo Dome, San Antonio, Texas. I think honestly, OU has more talent. That Lincoln Riley announcement has this entire program, I think, in turmoil now. But Oregon seems to have peaked about a month ago and seems to be on the decline. So this was kind of a tough call. I'm going to go with the Sooners on this one, but this was not an easy call.
Yeah, same.
I couldn't see it going either way.
I'm going to go Oklahoma. In fact, I can say go either way. So I put OU down here on my paper. So OU could be either one. But I'm going Oklahoma because of the same reason. I just don't feel Oregon's playing very strong right now.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, next up, the Duke's Mayo Bowl on the 30th, ESPN, 11:30 in the morning, Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a border war. ACC's University of North Carolina Tar Heels, 6-6, taking on the SEC's University of South Carolina Gamecocks, 6-6. This one had to have the bowl makers salivating a little bit to have a border war in a bowl game. But where are you going, Rod?
Both of their records also having a border war between losing and winning.
Right.
So I'm always take UNC over South Carolina. I just think South Carolina can lose better than North Carolina can lose. They know how to lose.
Yeah. I hear, it's two 500 teams and it's just a meh. matchup other than the fact that it's a border war. So my whole thing was I'm taking the sideline with Mac Brown on it over the one with Shane Beamer.
There it is.
So give me the Tar Heels. All right. The TransPerfect Music City Bowl on the 30th, 3 o'clock, ESPN, Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee. Kind of playing in their backyard. SEC's University of Tennessee Volunteers, 7-5, taking on the Big Ten Purdue University Boilermakers at 8-4. They had wins over both Iowa and Sparty this year, as well as non-conference Power 5 win over Oregon State. Granted, they had losses to Wisconsin and Ohio State, so it wasn't all sunshine for Purdue, but, the Vols lost to Pitt, Florida, Ole Miss, Bama, Georgia. Their biggest win was probably that 3-point win over Kentucky. So I'm going to go with Purdue.
Yeah, I'm just picking SEC talent, so I was going with Tennessee, but they are losers, so I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm going
All right, brother. Next up, our first New Year's 6 game, the ChickfilA Peach Bowl on Friday, the 30th of December, 7 p.m. on ESPN, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. 10th ranked Big Ten, 10-2 Michigan State University Spartans taking on ACC champion 11-2 University of Pittsburgh Panthers, coming in ranked 12th. Which way you going?
Yeah, when I saw Pitt lose to Miami, I knew the Rangers they truly would never win this game. So Michigan State over Pitt.
Yeah, I said, let's face it, in 2021, Clemson was down, FSU and Miami still, haven't rebounded, completely. Virginia Tech, Louisville are down. The conference was there for the taking. Someone had to win it. Pitt did, but let's be completely honest. You put them in any of the other Power 5 conferences, they weren't even sniffing a title game this year. And not only that, they might not even sniff the title game in the American this year. So I'm going Sparty.
I agree.
All right. The SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, also on the 30th, 10:30 in the evening, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, the Big Ten University of Wisconsin Badgers, 8-4, taking on the Pac-12, Arizona State University Sun Devils, also at 8-4. It's a late kickoff. Probably not a lot of people are going to see this one, unless you're a Badger fan. They laid their share of eggs this year, for sure, against Penn State, Purdue, Minnesota, who, Notre Dame, just to name a few, but they also had a nice win over Iowa. Sun Devils' biggest win, probably over UCLA. And they had their losses were to lesser teams, in my opinion, as well. So I'm feeling the Badgers in this one.
Yeah, I think eventually that the program that Wisconsin is catches up to the program that Arizona State is. I got Wisconsin.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. All right, next up, the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl on New Year's Eve, the 31st, 11 a.m. on ESPN, TIAA Bank Stadium in Jacksonville. Again, we've got a head-to-head ranked matchup. ACC runner-up Wake Forest University Demon Deacons, 10-3, coming in at 17. SEC Texas A&M University Aggies, 8-4, coming in at 25. Where you going, Rod?
There's no way that Jimbo Fisher allows Wake Forest to beat them.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I agree. Like I said, they had their stumbles this year, A&M, but they also had some big marquee wins. So I'm feeling you on that one. All right, next up, a bowl game that is great. It is the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. I'm sorry, that was a bad joke. That was my dad joke for the show. But anyway, on CBS on New Year's Eve at noon from Sun Bowl Stadium in El Paso, Texas. ACC University of Miami Hurricanes, 7-5, taking on the Pac-12 Washington State University Cougars, also at 7-5. Neither team has a solid non-conference win or a standout conference win, either in my opinion this year. Both of these programs were just kind of there in 2021. So I'll base this one on their best loss. Wazoo best loss was that 2-point loss to BYU, whereas Miami's best loss was probably the 4-point loss to Pitt. So I'm going to go Wazoo.
I think Miami kind of finished on, I guess, what they would consider a positive note. I think talent-wise, they have some defensive players that could, they get going, they could take over a game. And their quarterback, quiet as it's kept, had a really, 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 really kind of outstanding season. So I'll go Miami's talent. Oh, I told you this is strictly business. I'm over here like my blood pressure is so low right now. I'm probably would qualify as a vampire, but I would go. I'll go at Miami.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. All right, next up in a bowl game that probably absolutely no one will see, the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, which will be streaming on barsports.com on New Year's Eve, 2:00, Arizona Stadium, Tucson, Arizona. The Max Central Michigan University Chippewas, 8-4. Mountain West Boise State University Broncos, 7-5. I mean, let's face it. Like I said, this is gonna be streaming and only starts a little bit before the first semifinal game kicks off. So how many people are really going to be watching this? But which way are you going, Rod?
Let's go Boise State. Historically a better program, I think.
Yeah, I mean, see, the Chippewas, they played Missouri pretty tight, had that OT win over Toledo, dominant win over Kent, who ended up, in the MAC title game, as well as a solid win against a decent Bowl State team this year. Boise beat Utah State, Fresno, and BYU. I guess I'll go Boise. They got a little bit more quality wins. I'll agree with you on this one.
And I think historically,
Yeah. So next up, the Outback Bowl on New Year's Day at noon on ESPN2 from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Big Ten's Penn State University Nittany Lions, 7-5, taking on the 21st ranked University of Arkansas Razorbacks, 8-4, out of the SEC. To me, James Franklin and the Nittany Lions just need this one more going into the offseason. So I'm going to take Penn State, even though they've stumbled this year. Don't have a heck of a lot of confidence, but I just think that need will win out.
I agree. That's exactly what I think. And losing this game, James Franklin, been talking about this. His seat is kind of heating up. I definitely think losing this game won't help. So,
well, they just signed him to an extension.
Okay. So now that swings the other way. So now he had, like you say, even more. They have something to play for. You know what I mean? Build momentum going into next year, into the future.
Yep. All right. Next up here in Orlando, the Verbo Citrus Bowl on ABC, 1:00 New Year's Day, Camping World Stadium. Head-to-head ranked matchup, 15th ranked, Big Ten runner-up, University of Iowa Hawkeyes, 10-3, taking on the University of Kentucky Wildcats, 9-3 out of the SEC, ranked 22. Where are you going, Rod?
Well, Kentucky. I think Kentucky's a pretty good program, man. They can't quite, you know what I mean? But I think they're pressing in the right direction. So I like them over. Iowa had a big win this year. That win was that over Florida.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm gonna
like Kentucky.
My rationale on this one is very similar to the last game. I just think, coming off of that drubbing in the Big Ten title game, I think Iowa needs this more going into the off season. So I'm going to go with Iowa. They need the bounce back game going into the off season.
All
Next up, another New Year's Six game. It is the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. The Big 12 Conference runner-up Oklahoma State University Cowboys, ranked number 9, 11-2, taking on an independent 11-1 University of Notre Dame Fighting Irish, ranked number 5. Be 1 o'clock in the afternoon, State Farm Stadium, Glendale, Arizona, on ESPN. Notre Dame, similar to what I said about Oklahoma earlier, a program that got kind of rocked by a coach's unexpected departure. They have promoted from within. That gives them some stability. And I think Oklahoma State might not be over the end of that Big 12 title game, falling literally inches short. I'm going to take the Irish.
I think that I'm biased against Notre Dame in this way, that I see them as a good program, but I see them as a good program that in the modern era is not able to get over the hump. So I just always pick them to fall short. So I got OK State for that reason.
OK State, huh? All right, fair enough. There's no wrong answers here until the games are played. Next up, the Rose Bowl game presented by Capital One Venture X. This is the one I will be tuned into with rapt attention. 5 o'clock in the afternoon on New Year's Day from the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. 10-2, ranked number 6. The Ohio State University Buckeyes out of the Big Ten, taking on the University of Utah Utes, the Pac-12 champions, ranked number 11. Where are you going, Rod?
Well, Ohio State thinks it's a better team. I think they got better athletes. I've seen some pretty big wins from them this year, and I've got them over Utah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Few teams right now are coming into bowl season hotter than Utah. So Ryan Day is going to need to have these Buckeyes really dialed in. They got to step up, knuckle down, and, perform the way they're capable of performing to set things up going into 2022. But I'll go with the Buckeyes. I think he will have them ready for this game. I mean, it's the Rose Bowl. I mean, you're putting it's a traditional Rose Bowl matchup, Pac-12, Big Ten. Both teams will be ready to play.
That's a big game.
Yep. Next up, the AllState Sugar Bowl, Friday evening, New Year's Day, 8:45 p.m. Caesars Superdome, New Orleans, Louisiana. The Big 12 champion, 7th ranked Baylor University Bears, 11-2, taking on the 10-2 University of Mississippi Rebels, ranked number 8 out of the SEC. This is a good matchup here, but I think Baylor honestly might be emotionally drained after that championship game. So I will take kind of the upset here, and I'm going to go Ole Miss.
I'm going to go Ole Miss. I just got a feeling that they may be able to get that offense, going pretty well in this postseason game. And I also like the fact that they got SEC athletes on defense. So.
Yeah. Like I said, I just think that, Baylor just might be drained after that end of that last game.
It was a lot.
Yeah. So next up, the Texas Bowl on the 4th of January, 9 o'clock in the evening on ESPN, Energy Stadium, Houston, Texas. The Big 12, Kansas State University Wildcats, 7-5, taking on the Louisiana State University Tigers out of the SEC at 6-6. This is getting ready to kick off a new era, the Brian Kelly era, coming out of the gate here. Which way you going, Rod?
I'm going K-State. I think the transition might be too much. I think Ed Ogeron leaving was, it was pretty emotionally draining on the program. And I just think K-State probably has more stability right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Ed Ogeron departure is why LSU wins. I think these kids love Coach O. You know what I mean? So I think they're going to want they're going to play their heart out for him here to close things out. So that takes us to.
It's hard. It's hard, and just for the record, it's hard not to like Coach Owen if you ever meet him in person.
Yeah, that takes us to the CFP semifinal games. First up, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic on New Year's Eve, 3:30 in the afternoon, AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. The American, undefeated champion, University of Cincinnati Bearcats, 13-0, ranked number 4, taking on the SEC champion, University of Alabama, Crimson Tide, 12-1, ranked number 1. Woo! This is a barn burner. Where are you going, Rod?
Alabama smashes them to pieces.
I think Alabama smashes them to pieces.
Yeah, I think Alabama smashes them to pieces.
Honestly, having watched them play this year, I think this is a team of destiny right now. They're the only undefeated team in the country, and they're undefeated for a reason. I'm going Cincinnati.
Hey, that would be, now look, I'm a boxing fan, right? And one of the things that I like the most is upset. That would be, if I wouldn't be mad to be wrong here.
Uh-huh.
I just have a ooh.
Like I said, I think this is a team of destiny. Like I said, they look the part right now. They know how to roll with the punches. They were undefeated all of last regular season and lost, a heartbreaker in their bowl game. So, you know what I mean? It was a very tight game, that bowl game. They're very close to going back-to-back undefeated seasons. This is a talented team.
Kind of like the UCF team that they didn't give a chance to.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
Next up, the other semifinal matchup, the Capital One Orange Bowl. SEC runner-up, 12-1, University of Georgia Bulldogs, ranked number 3, 7:30 in the evening, Miami Gardens, Florida, Hard Rock Stadium, ESPN, taking on, well, I'll let you announce this one because I refuse to.
Michigan Wolverines. Is it me or is it you?
Yeah. This one hurts. But I'm going, I'm going Georgia. I'm going Georgia.
Okay.
Can't do it.
I thought you were going to be bleeding out the mouth, eyes. I thought you were about to be bleeding out the eyes, mouth, and nose, and hands.
Nope. I can't do it. I can't do. In previous years, I have gone with them in their bowl matchup and bit me in the butt.
Okay.
So I'm not doing it.
All right. Well, if you won't do it, then I guess it's up to me to also not do it. I'm going with Georgia.
All right. So that takes us to the national championship game presented by AT&T. Monday evening, the 10th of January, 8 p.m., Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis, Indiana. Could be Alabama, could be Cincinnati, could be Georgia, could be who. You have Bama and Georgia. You have an all SEC championship. I got Cincinnati and Georgia. Which way you going, Rod?
I think we're all going to we're getting fatigued again. My son said it's just oppressive and fatiguing, but I think we're still under the thumb of the Emperor Satan. I think Alabama gets another national championship this year.
You sure about that?
That's what I think.
Yeah. Hold up, brother. All right, you going Bama? Like I said, I think it's a team of destiny. I'm going Natty. Going Natty to shock the world.
I mean, that would be a great story for this season. That would be amazing.
Yeah. So there you have it. There are our bowl picks. Please play along with us. Give us your picks, your comments down below. Give us a like, a share, a subscribe always. We will be coming back to you in a couple of weeks with some more wrestling predictions. We got day 1 to pick. That card is starting to round itself out. Other few matchups announced on that one, so should be a good time. Our first ever New Year's Day show to talk about. So wherever you are, we hope you're doing well. Take care of one another, and we will see you when we see you.